What's up guys, Jeff here with Grid Steady Fitness and Performance, and today I'm going to give you some simple tricks to help alleviate some shoulder pain and shoulder discomfort, as well as increase range of motion and the ability to get some movements like overhead pressing or even bench pressing to feel more comfortable, safe, and stronger. Now, a little bit about the shoulder first off. If you walk around and you play on your phone, you're in this position a lot throughout the day. If you sit on a computer, you're in this position a lot throughout the day, or even driving, you're here. Now when we get home, we spend our day sitting on the couch watching TV, looking at our phones, playing on our computer, driving, working, all these kind of things that basically have this forward tilting posture. Now, in this video, I'm not going to help you give solutions to fix that overall. That is a whole different structure. But this is some tips that will help regress some of the forward tilt that you guys are acquiring from sitting naturally throughout the day, and just kind of help you with posture in general. All right. So, first drill here is going to be an overhead shoulder mobility drill. So you'll want to use a nice thick band. These are pull-up bands that I have here. Otherwise, you guys can even use a cable pull-down system or any sort of handle-based system that you guys can lock yourself into and get a little bit of tension and what's called traction. Traction is what allows you to basically not be stiff-armed or holding, but allow it to pull you out of position. Now, going back to the shoulder real quick, oftentimes people feel shoulder pain in the front shoulder cap or on the internal portion of their shoulder due to internal rotation here and pressure of the bone and shoulder cap itself pushing forward on the musculature and also creating tension and pinch inside of the shoulder joint here in between the chest and shoulder and chest. The other issue or area of pain is typically in the back portion of the shoulder, basically above or on underneath the scapula. So the scapula is that wing that if you see someone shirtless, it's that wing right below their shoulder, all right, or basically below the shoulder blade. Now, the reason this happens, especially the rear, is because we have tension in our lats, but we also have forward posture pull, which is pulling the scapula forward. When that happens, the musculature around the scapula also gets tight and creates tension, right? So it's like a band. Now, when this happens, if I have tension here, but I had someone press right on the middle of the band, right? It would feel like it's tight, but it's really not. It's just getting pressure or pull. So the top part of this muscle is not tight, but it's just getting pulled to be tight. Okay? So we don't want to be thinking, hey, I need to loosen this part, because when I loosen this part of the shoulder, it actually reinforces the forward tilt or forward nature of the shoulder. So we want to stop that. So a couple things that we're going to be working on today are going to be an overhead stretch, a lateral stretch, as well as a rear stretch. So for all these movements, you just want to pull a band or anything like that. I'm going to set this band up right here to start. So first setup is going to be a mid-pull. So I like to start, I put my hand inside and wrap around. So what I'm doing here is allowing myself to not have to create any force or tension in my forearm or arm to hold this. That way I can just give a nice long stretch. Now, for this, I'm going to do some light rocking in whatever range of motion feels comfortable to me. So I'm gonna rotate all the way around while I'm also creating tension from the band and creating a little force pulling my hand that way, okay? So I'll do this here. Now the other version I recommend is going to be an overhead version. So I would actually set this attachment up a little bit higher, that way I can get a little bit more traction and pull. However, I'm gonna just do it from this low pull system. I'm also gonna overlap my hand, and I'm just working what would be an overhead stretch. So if done correctly, the attachment's a little bit higher. I'm gonna overlay my hands. You guys can even do dual arms as such. Now I start with just a neutral position and try and fold myself down. What I'm doing here is trying to create tension in my shoulders and allowing me to stretch more into this overhead position, okay? Now another drill I have here is going to be the pec or chest stretch. So I'm gonna actually turn away from the attachment. I'm gonna have my palm facing out, and I'm gonna try and open my chest up as much as possible. So I'm trying to stretch my chest and pecs, rotating away from the attachment to give a nice big shoulder stretch right here. All right? So the next and final version of our shoulder stretching drills is going to be the exterior portion of the shoulder cap. So for this, again, I just rotate in, and I'm gonna rotate out and around. So with this, I have my hand behind my back of palm should be a little off my body, and again, I'm just letting my shoulder pull back and out. With this, I like the band because I can allow myself to give even more pressure throughout the range. I can get some more tension to make it a little bit more or less effective based on how it feels for me. So if it feels really, really tight or sore, I might loosen some pressure. If I feel like I'm creating a good amount of range or mobility, I'll continue to do that, okay? And then one more final drill that will help a little bit of the external rotation. So external and internal rotation. If we had our arms on or elbows on a countertop, and we pushed our hand up, that's external rotation. If we pushed our hand down, that's internal rotation. Now, for most of us, when we sit down, we're in internal rotation. So the goal is to work external rotation. That's allowing us to get that overhead position, more range of motion in our shoulders, right? And go back to a normal posture position. So for this one, I will set my band up high. So for here, again, I'm just gonna wrap my arm out and in, and I'm basically doing a wall stretch. So I'm doing this with a band to allow myself a little bit more range of motion forward, a little bit more tension, but I keep my arm 90, and then just let that band flex me back. Now, if I don't have a band, I can do this on a wall here, out and up, okay? And then just kind of work lower and lower through a forward tilting motion, which will allow me to continue to work my external rotation in my shoulder and arm. Now those are a few drills that you guys can start implementing right away just with simple tools such as a pull-up band, a cable pull-down machine, or even just a wall or a door frame like I'm using here to allow yourself to create and loosen your chest and shoulders, eliminate some of the internal rotation that you build up through sitting all day, being on your phone, typing, texting, any of these forward kyphotic postures, and allowing you guys to get some more overhead range of motion as well as relieve some pain and pressure in the shoulders to allow yourself to train harder as well as smarter, as well as eliminate that pain that might be causing you to back away from some of your training or that intensity.